Okay, so we're kind of, I think we're about ready to analyze the basic Click Me application that comes up when you open up CodeSkulptor. Um, so looked at this template before. We know we have to import the Simple GUI module, and then there are these other sections here. The first one says define global variables or program state. So I think I mentioned this earlier. Global variables aren't really the greatest way to build GUIs, but for the purposes of this course, it's probably the most convenient place for us to start. So I'm going to go ahead and look here. See, we have this definition of a global variable right here. I'm going to copy this. So notice it's assigned a value outside of any function. Just paste that in here. So that's our program state is whatever stored in message is information that could be available to any other function. And we saw that sometimes we need to use the global keyword if we want to make any changes, right, to message. Well, let's take a look. Then it says define helper functions. Helper functions are used if you want to do more complicated stuff here with the handlers. Okay, so if we needed some other functions to kind of use inside our click function or our draw function, then those would be our helper functions. For this particular program, there really aren't any helper functions, but we do have event handlers. Okay, so this is the handler. When they say the mouse click, it's really the handler for the mouse clicking the button. So it might not be exactly what you think of as a mouse click, but I'm going to say. So this is a handler for the button click. When we click the button, so see here we have click. When we click the button with the label "click me," then this is the handler. This is the function that gets called. And then we have a handler for drawing, so we get to talk about drawing finally. We'll draw some text. Let me copy that. So that's going to go here. That's going to be another event handler. So the way that drawing works is drawing happens automatically, and it happens over and over and over and over again. Okay, so it gets called. I can't remember now how many times a minute, but it's a lot. There's a lot of frames per second or whatever. Maybe we'll look that up later, but anyway, it gets called over and over and over again. So as long as you have the draw handler and you register the draw handler, which I'll show you in a minute, then this drawing is always going to take place. So we have this draw text function here. If we look in the docs, under, let's see, it's not a control, it's under canvas. So yeah, so the way to think of that main window when we create a frame, the drawing space is the canvas. So that black rectangle, that's 300 by 200. They refer to it as the canvas. All right, so we're going to say canvas draw text is the operation we're going to do, and this kind of explains how that works. So we position the text. So we write the arguments we give it are the text we want to write, a point, and the point is the position at which we're going to draw the text, and that point actually is the lower left corner of the where it says welcome. It's the lower left corner for the W. and then the font size that we're going to use, and the font color. And here you can even use a font face, like you could say serif or sans serif, I guess. Oh yeah, here are the ones you can use: serif, sans serif, and monospace. And you can also, there are also functions for the text width and all that razzmatazz. But anyway, the basic drawing for drawing text is we're going to put the text that we're going to draw, which is our message. Right now, message has the value welcome when we start. This is the point where we're going to draw it. The font is going to be size 48, and we're going to draw it in red. Okay, so that's the drawing part. What else do we have? So then we have to. So we defined our event handlers. We didn't have any helper functions. We defined the event handlers. Now we have to create a frame. So let's look at that. Okay, here's how we create a frame. So this template is a nice little template. I'll give you guys a link to it, so that it helps you remember all the different things you have to do. And I suggest very strongly that you leave all these comments in as you go, so you make sure you're filling in all these slots. So we have create a frame. Then we're going to add a button. Do that. So here's adding a button. Really what we're doing is we're registering an event handler. And I think in the example before we had button equals, because this actually does return a, the button that you're going to be working with. So you could assign this. You could say something like button equals. But since we're not going to refer to that button at all here, and we didn't really need to do it the last time, we can just do add button. And then we're going to also set the draw handler. Okay, so notice these are functions for the frame object. Okay, the frame knows how to add a button to itself, and it knows how to set a draw handler. So the frame is responsible for calling this function when a button gets clicked, and for calling the draw function over and over and over again every time the screen refreshes, basically. Something like that. But anyway, okay, so we registered the event handlers. And we had two event handlers: click for the button and draw for drawing on the canvas. And then we have to start the frame and timers. And in this one, we don't have any timers, but we do have to start the frame. So there that goes, and that gives us our dealio. Let me just show you what happens if you forget to start the frame. Nothing. Just get a blank white page, okay? So again, like I said, it's good to use these kind of fill in the blank deals to make sure that you're filling everything in. Okay, so that's that. I think we have just about everything we need to do the pair programming project when you guys are ready for it. So as soon as everybody's got this figured out, then we'll set up our pair programming.